Today's selection is from Surah 24, An-Nûr, or the Light, verses 27 through 40. These verses discuss etiquette for entering other people's houses, required behavior in mixed gender settings, marriage, and granting freedom to slaves. Next, a series of inspirational passages asserting that Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Allah's light is found in places of worship, and the deeds of the unbelievers are like a mirage in a sandy desert. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. O believers, do not enter houses other than your own until you have sought permission and said greetings of peace to the occupants. This is better for you so that you may be mindful. If you do not find anybody therein, still do not enter until permission is given to you, and if you are asked to go back, then go back. This is more fitting for you, and Allah is cognizant of what you do. There is no blame on you if you enter houses which are not used for dwelling, and in which you have something belonging to you. And Allah knows what you reveal and what you conceal. Enjoin the believing men to lower their gaze and guard their modesty. That is chaster for them. Surely Allah is well aware of their actions. Likewise, enjoin the believing women to lower their gaze and guard their modesty, not to display their beauty and ornaments except what normally appears thereof. Let them draw their veils over their bosoms and not display their adornments or charms, except to their husbands, their fathers-in-law, their own sons, their stepsons, their own brothers, their nephews on either brothers' or sisters' sides, their own womenfolk, their own slaves, male attendants who lack sexual desires, or small children who have no carnal knowledge of women. Also enjoin them not to strike their feet in order to draw attention to their hidden trinkets. And, O believers, turn to Allah in repentance, all of you, about your past mistakes, so that you may attain salvation. Get the singles among you married, as well as those who are fit for marriage among your male slaves and female slaves. If they are poor, Allah will make them free from want out of His grace, for Allah has boundless resources and is all-knowing. And let those who do not find means to marry keep themselves chaste until Allah enriches them out of His bounty. As for those of your slaves who seek writing to buy out their liberty, execute the deed of liberty with them if you find them deserving, and give them some of the wealth which Allah has given you. Do not force your slave girls into prostitution for your own worldly gains, if they wish to preserve their chastity. And if anyone forces them into it, then surely after such a compulsion, Allah will be forgiving and merciful to the slave girls. We have already sent down to you revelations giving you clear guidance, and cited examples of those people who passed away before you, and an admonition for the righteous people. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. The parable of His light is as if there were a niche in which there is a lamp. The lamp is enclosed in a crystal. The crystal is of a star-like brilliance. It is lit with olive oil from a blessed olive tree, which is neither eastern nor western. Its very oil would be almost luminous, though no fire touched it, as though all the means of increasing light upon light are provided. Allah guides to His light whom He pleases. Allah cites such parables to make His message clear to the people, and Allah has knowledge of everything. His light is found in those houses which Allah has sanctioned to be built for the remembrance of His name, where His name is glorified in the mornings and in the evenings again and again, by such people whom neither business nor business profit can divert from the remembrance of Allah, nor from establishing prayers, and nor from paying charity, for they fear the day of judgment when hearts and eyes will be overturned, so that Allah may reward them according to the best of their deeds, and add for them even more out of His grace, for Allah gives without measure to whom He pleases. As for the unbelievers, their deeds will disappear like a mirage in a sandy desert, which the thirsty traveler thinks to be water, but when he comes near he finds it to be nothing. Instead he finds Allah to settle his account, for Allah is swift in settling accounts. Or another parable of the unbelievers is like the darkness in a bottomless ocean overwhelmed with billows, one over the other, overcast with dark clouds, layers of utter darkness, one above another, so much so that if he stretches out his hand, he can hardly see it. The one to whom Allah does not give light will not have light. Ameen. This concludes today's episode of the 17 Verses podcast. I hope that this selection helps increase your understanding of the Holy Quran just a little bit. If you like the podcast, you can subscribe in iTunes or Stitcher and write us a review. Or you can grab the RSS feed and put it into your own podcast app. The show notes, including a text version of this episode, can be found by going to 17verses.com. That's the numbers 17, VERSES.com. Thank you, and be well.